afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Phatkat Collections. As you can see, I got another watch today, and this is another awesome build by Oceaneva. This is their latest release, their 6,000-meter GMT dive watch. Incredible value, incredible build, like all the Oceaneva watches, and I wanted to share it with you guys ASAP. So I just got this in the mail a day ago. My guy over at Oceaneva, the owner of the company, reached out and said, how quick can you get a video up? I said, man, I can get it up there Thursday. So just an amazing release. Again, their watches, the best way I can describe Oceaneva, and I want to say this because one thing about the way I review watches is I'm always going to be very transparent, very authentic, and very honest, right? And let's face it, there are thousands of watches out there that are great value. What do I have? Over 500 in my collection now. Citizen, Bulova, Invicta, Aragon, you know, all the Dartmouth brands. Aquadive, Visser, you name it, I got a lot of brand watches. But one thing that I always state is you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a great build for a watch. There's always going to be little differences, right? So the reason I'm mentioning this is because this is an incredible diver, but you are going to pay a little more for it. So you guys typically know I'm more of like the $100 to $300 watch guy. Because I've said many times, you can get a lot of bang for your buck in those price points. However, Oceaneva, the best way to describe this company is, yes, you can look at an Invicta that has a 3,000 foot dive rating for 150 bucks. However, are you really going to necessarily trust your life with that? You know, it's not really a big concern to me because I wear watches for the fun of it, for the fun of collecting. I'm not too critical. However, Oceaneva is a brand that I've always said, if somebody asked me, hey, you have to choose one brand watch out of your collection that you're going to potentially trust your life with, right? Based on the quality control, the build, what brand is it going to be? Without a doubt, it's Oceaneva. Now, I've said that many times. I'll die on that hill, right? And are there other great watch brands out there that are tool watches? Absolutely. But Oceaneva really does give you a lot of bang for your buck. And I really like everything about this company. All, you know, from the name. Like I can look at other brands that I work with like Nubeo and Dartmouth and I'm like, yeah, cool, that's the name, right? But there's something about the Oceaneva name that if I'm wearing this and somebody says, what kind of watch is that? I'm like, this is an Oceaneva. There's definitely a level of pride I feel. And not to say I don't feel that with other watches, but I just really trust the build quality on these watches. That's the best way I can describe how I feel about the brand. Now, you may have your own feelings about that. You may have your own, opinions about, maybe other watches I review and then, compared to this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody, for the most part, is making a lot of really great watches. And you can get a lot of bang for your buck in the sub-$100 price range. But you won't get this, right? And so another way I can describe Oceaneva is that they are really creating what I would consider specs in a watch that are way beyond what you're normally going to find in like your more affordable watches. And the prices they're coming in at are just really quite remarkable for what you are getting, right? And so I think whether you like me or not, whether you like my taste in watches or my style of reviewing, at the end of the day, we can overcomplicate anything. There's lots of YouTubers out there that are overcomplicate this and talk about this and not and geek out about this, and that's fine if that's your cup of tea. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what most people want is a good quality watch that looks good, that they feel proud wearing, that they feel good about, and something that they can really rely on, right? And so Oceaneva, of course, is that brand. I feel like these are tool watches. I encourage you to beat the living shit out of them. I think they'll just keep on going, right? So what do you get with this watch? So of course you have a 6,000-meter depth rating. That is unbelievable, unheard of at this price point. And the price point is $799. You can use my coupon code on top of that. A lot of times my coupon codes, depending on the sale that a company has, they won't let you use it. Oceaneva will let you use that 10% Phatkat Collections coupon code on top of any sale they have. At least that's what I've seen so far. And I think I even said one time, like, I made some reference to that, and the owner was like, no, the coupon works all the time. like scolding me, And so that's, it's a great company. I've enjoyed working with them. And anytime that he reaches out, I'm super pumped about it. Now, you guys know I don't like green. And I've said it all the time. The only color he had left was green. And so I will be honest with you. When he said he was sending green, I was like, oh, man, wish I could have chosen the color. However, Sorry, he's doing it on purpose because the tinniest he also sent in green. Now maybe green's not the most popular one. I don't really know, but I gotta tell you, I am really liking this green. I was pleasantly surprised when I took it out of the box, and I'll show you the box too. It looks awesome. I mean, it just has a level of class to it that it's hard for me to describe. I'm not sure if I'm just like maybe just imagining this, but I just feel like it's super glossy. I've seen, you know, what do you call it, ceramic bezels before. I have hundreds of them. But I don't know what it is about this green and black. Let me just show you again. We're going to talk about the specifications. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. What also makes this watch incredible, right, is the fact that it's made out of grade 5 titanium. And I'm not normally a titanium fan because I just feel like titanium tends to feel kind of light, which, I mean, that's the whole point, right? It's super strong, super light, but it's just like there's a mental thing with it. I just like the weight. This one doesn't feel that way, and probably because it's such a thick, beefy watch. Like, it's very thick, and just word to the wise here, if you are going to order this, just understand, like, if you have a watch in your collection already, and you're like, oh, I have a 13 millimeter, you know, just kind of like take a tape measure, maybe cut a piece of paper or foam, something with a little bit extra thickness, and put it on top of what you're wearing. Only one person, to my knowledge, had any kind of issues with the thickness of this, because most people read the description before they make a purchase, but it is a thicker watch, which for me, I love watches in that 40 to 44 millimeter range that are thicker. Once you start getting a watch that is, you know, in that size, it just kind of loses its like oomph. And again, I wear them, I enjoy them, don't get me wrong, but I definitely like it when you have a watch of this diameter. It's got the thickness to it, and this one definitely does. So grade 5 titanium. Let's talk about the specifications. Of course, we have a sapphire crystal. That's a given. Amazing lume on this. I'll tell you about that in a second. But the real build, the real, I think, unique part about the build is that grade 5 titanium is 227% stronger and 225% harder than 316 stainless steel, yet 40% lighter. So although this watch is very thick, it feels like a standard stainless steel watch that's a lot thinner on the wrist. So I have enjoyed wearing this last couple days. I think it's a beautiful watch. And again, when you look at the color on their site, if the green is your thing, you'll see when you click the link in the description, the green on their site, it doesn't really, this is more of like a forest green. I feel like their lighting is so good on the pictures, it makes it look a lot like greener than it actually is. And I was pleasantly surprised when I got it, because it is more of like military green. It's not OD green, but it definitely has more of a, this video is a perfect representation. You'll see when you click the link and look at the picture, it looks brighter, and it's not. It's more of a very subtle forest green, and I love it. I think it looks fantastic. Very rich. Looks like money, okay? Yeah, I'm sorry, I just get super excited with these. Unidirectional rotating bezel, or bi-directional rotating bezel, which either way. You know, all these watches, I never really talk too much about the bezel, but they're always tight. Like, there's no, this is not, you know, this is, a lot of the guys who review watches are still kind of living 20 years ago, right? 30 years ago. Whereas like a tight bezel was a unique thing. It's like, oh wow, that bezel's perfect. Look at the machining. But it's pretty common nowadays. It's nothing really to write home about. Like all watches, even I shouldn't say all watches, but a lot of watches, most of the watches on the market in the sub $100 price range have a nice tight bezel. So this one absolutely has that. Like, you wouldn't want to spend $700 and have the bezel flopping around. This has that. Again, let's get back to the grade 5 titanium. So you've heard me mention in the past before, you know, 904 stainless steel Rolex uses. Not necessary, kind of a, I think more of just like a selling point. And I don't want to come across to you like, oh, I'm saying that about Rolex because Rolex using it, I'm bashing on Rolex. 904 has more nickel, I believe, and it's more corrosion resistant to acidics. But unless you are, depending on your environment, right? Most people are not living in the ocean, right? You're not, maybe if you spent like your whole, maybe if you're a commercial fisherman and you are around salt water all the time, constantly getting wet, abusing your watch with salt water, then maybe 904 might be a good option. But then again, for what you're going to pay for it, do you really want to spend that much money and wear that on a fishing boat, right? So it is more corrosion resistant, but for the average user, the normal person, it really makes no difference at all. Some folks say, oh, it polishes a bit better. I think it's softer. Personally, I don't think it's as hard as 316, so I think they use it because they can kind of polish it out, get rid of scratches for the pre-owned market. Just my opinion, doesn't make it true, but that's why I feel they use it. But it's also like, hey, well, it's more corrosive. You know, it's just a selling point, right? It's one of those manufacturer desires where it's like people think they need it and they really don't. However, a watch, definitely, if you wear it all the time, well, you're going to bang it. You're going to scratch it. This is, again, 225% harder. Means it's going to be more scratch resistant. Just like a sapphire crystal, a lot of folks want to have a sapphire crystal because of that scratch resistance. It doesn't mean the other crystals you're going to scratch, but it just means it's the best. So this is really kind of very innovative for them to use a grade 5 titanium on this build, right? Super strong, super hard, and it definitely has a kind of a different look to it. It's subtle. It doesn't look like titanium usually looks very gray. This just has a very subtle, darker. It's almost like a darker stainless. If I didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't notice. We have mirror polishing on the lugs, of course. We have brushed on the side, helium release valve, Oceaneva Trident on the, again, screw down crown, 22 millimeter lug width, so you can very easily find, you know, a bracelet if you want for this. I wish, the only thing I have to say about this, I wish Oceaneva, it's probably very expensive, but I wish they would come out with a bracelet for this in grade 5 titanium. I think just having the whole watch in titanium, because you guys know I'm a bracelet guy, but I'll tell you, I've been enjoying this silicone strap. So much that they also sent me the white one, which I've been bugging them. Thank you, Oceaneva. I like the ability to kind of change it up, and this is very summery. You can kind of get an idea of what it'll look like on white, and I'll come back and probably re-review this on the white strap just to give you guys a different idea, but it's a gorgeous watch. Let's talk about the other specs, and I'll just give you a little more of the emotional ride that I'm on with this. 44 millimeter case diameter, 22 millimeter lug width for the strap, of course. We have 49.5 lug to lug, and again, we have 19.4 millimeters in that thickness. Now, I tried to record this video earlier several times. I want you to not do what I do and just kind of skim through the information. This does have the Miyota movement in it, and this has the Miyota 9075 GMT. So I got a little confused reading it because the watch actually came with the Sellita SW200 warning card. So this must have accidentally got put in there. Maybe they grabbed the case from one of the other models, because they do make this one with the Sellita in the Damascus bezel version, which I've reviewed before, another beautiful watch. But as far as the GMT version, this one is the Miyota, okay? And it was a little confusing because I saw that card. I'm looking at the watch. It says Japanese movement on the back. I just got very confused enough that I cut the video and emailed my guy. And he's like, doesn't say it anywhere. But what's confusing about it is it says in blue, very bright, like when you first read this, before you read further, please understand the value being offered. Usually GMT pieces with this Japanese Miyota 9075 movement sell for $900 to $2,000. And those are the watches those are watches with not even half the specs this model. So you're getting incredible value, just so you know. They're limited to 50 pieces of each color, 300 units globally. There's not many of these to go around. And so let me just scroll down further. This is where I got confused, okay? Because it says here, 19.40 millimeters case thickness with sapphire at the thickest point. Our 6,000 meter release with the Swiss SW200 movement is 18.2. I read that too quick, and I was like, oh, it says 6,000 meter Swiss. I read way too quick. This is referencing the other model, okay, which is 18.2 with the Sellita SW200. This is the Miyota 9075 GMT, measuring 19.4. So it's a little bit thicker, which I did notice. When I was looking at it, I took it out of the box. I was like, why is it? I was like, I don't remember the other one being this thick, and it is a little thicker, which I love, right? All right, so I'm just going to kind of blaze through this a little bit more. It also says here, Oceaneva is the only brand, as of September 2025, producing a 6,000 meter GMT. So this one is just, it's an amazing watch, and they're kind of like, checking off a few boxes in kind of the haven't been done category before. What else here? It has a high grade black ceramic bezel, bidirectional 24 click, nearly scratch proof, grade A Swiss Luminova loom. These are awesome. The loom on Oceanevas are fantastic. I don't really even have to really beat that horse dead anymore. And the enamel on the face, it says here, it's got meticulous enamel dial paired with the luminous stainless steel hands and sweeping second hand. I will say the enamel does look great, and I think that's why I feel like this is so glossy. It just has a very like wet look to it, is the best way I could describe it. Now I'd have to pull out some of the other watches and compare them side by side, but my honest opinion was that it looked very like shiny, honestly. So let me get done with this. So it has a sapphire crystal near scratch proof. It is a 6mm slightly domed crystal. So very thick, huge depth rating. And I think that's about the only specs. They got the helium release valve again. The straps are high quality German FKM rubber. I said silicone earlier, that's not correct. I'm not sure what the difference is between FKM rubber, but durability, and they just talk about I encourage you to go to the website. Again, the link's in the description. Most important thing about this is we got the 6,000-meter water resistance, which is unbelievable at this price point. I mean, if you look at a lot of the divers out there that, like, I can speak to, for instance, Aqua Dive. I have one of their watches, the Bathyscaphe. That watch is $1,800 to $2,000 all day. Now, that one does have the SW200 in it, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't make any difference, right? If you want a GMT, the Miota is fantastic. You're getting the GMT function, and you're getting just a very unique piece with amazing build quality and grade 5 titanium as opposed to stainless steel. So they're giving you a lot of bang for your buck. Don't snooze on this. Get it while you can. With my coupon, you're going to get it for roughly $720, which is amazing. It does weigh 4.6 ounces for you folks who are, concerned with that. And that's really, the bulk of the specifications that people really look for. Let's take a look. Now, again, remember, if you want to see more close-ups, check out the other video. Link will be in the description at some point where you can just see the close-ups. Now, let me show you the box. So, love the presentation on this. You get this really nice sort of Pelican-style dive box. I like that it's just not black, like the Invicta boxes, which are great too, black or yellow. I know they do make a lot of other colors too. I shouldn't really say just black and yellow, but I like that they did their own thing on it. It's not your generic, like, off-the-shelf watch box that a lot of watches come in. This looks like it's made specifically for them. Beautiful Oceaneva logo. I can just kind of imagine if I didn't know anything about watches and somebody gifted this to me. It has a very classy, high-quality presentation. Open it up, you got, of course, your warranty card, which is done in sort of like this, I believe it's a piece of stainless steel. It might even be grade 5 titanium. Not really sure, but there it is. You do get kind of a collector coin on this. It's a little Oceaneva, almost like a paperweight with the trident. Looks like that's Poseidon on the back, I think. Oceaneva. This stuff I never really get to, like, pumped about. They do give you a keychain as well, kind of like a paracord. These usually just stay in the box, but it's cool if they include a little something with it. That's about it for presentation. I mean, it's nice. That's all I can really say about it. Does also come with the polishing cloth. All these things are pretty standard in a lot of nice quality watches. It's a great piece. So let me close on this. When I got this, again, the excitement, I was surprised is, I guess, the best way of describing this, because I don't want to come across like, I'm super appreciative of these collaborations. Like, I am just flabbergasted every time Oceaneva has a new release. I'm always trying to get another one. They're fantastic watches. They're tool watches. They're robust. They're built with quality. They're built with thought. I absolutely love them. But again, when I got it, I was like, okay, I'm used to seeing, I have it in the Solita movement with the red kind of gradient dial. I was, you do get desensitized. And I was excited to get it, but not as excited as I was with, like, some of the other ones. However, again, when I took it out of the box and looked at it, there is just like this wet look to it that I can't describe unless you actually get it. And it is an awesome watch, and I absolutely love it. It's just, you know, I've been doing this a very long time, and it always surprised me that I can still get impressed, and I can still kind of get wowed, and this one will wow you. So let me throw it on the wrist here and show you what it looks like. It is a stunning piece, and they won't last for this price. Get them while you can. That's all I can really say. So I got a 7-inch wrist. Again, a watch like this, you can wear this watch any circumstance, business, dress, casual, whatever. It just looks amazing. And again, I gotta tell you, the green, I'm shocked that I like it. I really am. You know, I would have chose black. I would have chose white. Black probably would have been my first pick, but now actually having it, I don't have a green watch like this, a green face watch, and there is just a beauty to it. I think it's a great combination, and I think that if you decide to get this, and let's say they don't have by the time you decide to order, they don't have the color you want, get any of the colors, because this is coming from a guy who's more like, you know, the black, white. I like all colors, don't get me wrong, but I always have my picks. And when I look at these, there's like a baby blue. I probably would have chose the baby blue or the black. And I have a lot of baby blue watches. I'm really glad I got the green. There is, you know, money green, that's saying. I just feel like there's a richness to this color combination, and I encourage you, no matter what choice you have to get, if they're out of stock and you are like, I want the black, get the green. You will be happy. You will not be disappointed in this watch. Trust me, it looks great. I love the presence, and I just am flabbergasted. And again, I want to thank Oceaneva. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, let me know. I answer every comment. I'm always here to help you guys out if you have any questions. And, you know, and sometimes I don't know the answer. I'll find out and get you the answer. So thanks for watching, folks. Do subscribe to the channel for honest, real reviews. No editing, no scripting. You're getting exactly what I'm like on a day-to-day basis. And that may, you know, that some people may like that, some people may not. Ultimately, I don't give a shit. Give this watch a chance. If you are a watch guy and you haven't picked up an Oceaneva, get yourself one. You'll thank me later.